Welcome back to Don't Get Me Started podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Abby.
And I'm Heather.
And welcome back to another week of Haha Funny. I don't know what just came out of me, but...
Okay, guys, we have a new setup.
Yes.
So the episodes 1 through 4, we were holding our mics because we thought it looked more casual.
Yeah.
But we were really struggling with the audio fluctuation. So this week they're stationary.
Yes, yeah. So hopefully our audio is better.
Yeah.
Like I said, each week we wanted to get better and better. So
yeah.
Hopefully.
Started from the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how have you been?
I've been good. Nothing really interesting has been happening. I honestly don't know what I do with all my time, if I'm honest.
Really? I mean, we saw each other 2 days ago.
Yeah, so it's and before that we saw each other 4 days in a row. But yeah, anyways, my progress on the New York Times crossword is coming along.
Nice.
Today I got the mini crossword in 1 minute and 56 seconds.
Wow! Snaps.
But thanks everybody. Our live audience. But the only thing I'm mad about is one of the blank, it was like blank. Oh wait, never mind. I just realized I was wrong. It was blank, comma, get all. But I thought it was like get all, be all. But the answer was be all, get all.
Ah, that's really unfortunate.
But that kind of makes sense too. That was my downfall of the crossword this morning.
And wasn't it like different number of letters, number of spaces? Isn't get?
Well, no, the second part was get all. So I didn't think the first part would be all because I thought be all come after.
Okay.
But it's okay.
That's actually so
Anyways,
funny.
that's really the only interesting thing that's happened to me since last time I saw you.
Have you started reading anything new?
No, I read like another chapter of Verity, but
Nice.
I don't know. I was on my reading kick and now I'm off it.
That happened to me. I read when Katie, my sister, and I went to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I read like 3 books that one vacation, and since I've come back, I really haven't been able to get into books.
It's so hard, but
yeah, it's okay.
It just takes like the right book, I think, and
Yeah.
I just gotta find that book.
Yeah,
That's
if I'm not hooked by like the 3rd page, I can't read it. I don't know why.
Like I am hooked, but it's just like I don't know.
So you're not line and sinker.
Yeah. So any book recommendations anybody has, let me know.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I have a couple updates. I just was looking into buying new running shoes because in our bucket list episode, we talked about me running a half marathon, and I was like, well, my first step for this is to buy new running shoes. So I just purchased Hoka's.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I'm super excited. I bought their like orange, purple, and pink.
Oh, Harry Styles has that pair.
Oh my god. We're twinning. So yeah, I'm super excited for them to come in, and then I feel like I can't start running or anything unless I have a good pair of shoes.
Yeah.
I tell myself it's to prevent injury, but it's really just because I don't want to start yet. Yeah. Oh, and then yesterday I told you this already, but I did a spin class that was Harry versus Taylor themed, and it was so on brand. It was so good. I wanted to cry after. Okay, yeah, and then I wanted to talk about, I was telling Abby a little bit before this before we started recording, but I've been feeling very like emotional and like inspirational today and kind of the past couple days. So I think if you don't know this, I'm in engineering, like I work for a medical device company, and kind of like going into engineering in college, they always tell you it's a male dominated field, and I really was like, I didn't think that would it doesn't bother me for the most part. I didn't really mind it in college. Some things would get to me, like when I was kind of I felt like I was outnumbered or kind of like not being taken seriously, like that happened a couple times. But recently at work, there's been a lot of meetings happening with like higher ups, or just we're kind of going through like a restructuring. And so today, in the past couple days and last week, I've been in meetings and I've been the only girl, and I've been the youngest too, because I'm still so fresh out of college. And I was thinking, I just wanted to kind of like give this advice for myself and for people who listen that maybe need to hear it, is like, I could let that bother me, and sometimes I do let it get to me, and I get in my head like, oh no, I'm the only girl here, I'm the youngest one here, I'm not going to be taken seriously, like, am I ever going to get anywhere in a company that's all, like, all the higher ups are very male dominated right now. And I was kind of getting in my head when I was in the room. I was just thinking, you know, I really could, you know, I could let that get to me. Or I was thinking, the only reason that they wouldn't take me seriously is because I have that in the back of my head that they're not going to take me seriously because I'm a woman. And, like, I shouldn't let that impact me just because that's, like, the facts of the situation. Like, I can't change it. They can't change it. Like, it's not their fault that that's the way the situation is. It's more just, like, and I know that we have to do better as society, like, leveling the playing field and everything like that. But when you're just at such a smaller level and, like, there's really nothing you can do about the situation, like, why would I let it get to me that when it's something that I can't control?
Yeah, because when you're letting it get in your head, whether it's true or not, once you get that thought in your head, like, you're belittling yourself too at that point.
Exactly. It's like no one is actually taking action on the fact that I'm the only woman in the room. Like, no one else probably even notices.
Yeah.
I'm probably the only one that notices, and it's like, just why would I let that impact my day-to-day when it's not impacting anybody else's? And it's like, I could let that infuriate me and make me give up, or I could let it motivate me and, like, try to represent, you know, who I am and, like, more women in the field. So I just, like, had that realization today, and I just wanted to share it because, I was feeling, like I said, just very overwhelmed with a lot of emotions. Like, there's just been a lot going on, like, a lot of changes at work and, like, in behind the scenes in my personal life and stuff. So I was just, like, feeling all these emotions, and I was like, you just have to remember you can control what you can control, and like, don't worry about things that you can't control, which is kind of like what you said right before we started. You were like, don't stress yet.
Don't stress about the unknown yet. Let things happen how they happen, and then stress when they happen.
And everything happens for a reason, and everything will work out. So
the way it's supposed to be. Nice. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for the good changes coming your way.
Yeah.
And if there's any bad changes, they'll turn out good in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everything, like I said, everything happens for a reason. So, should we get into the topic of today?
Yeah. So, our topic today is all about friendships. Because we have found friendships have changed over the years, and some change for the better, some change for the worse. And we just want to kind of talk about, like, what qualities we look for in friends. So Heather reached out on Instagram and got some answers about what some of our listeners look for in friendships.
Yeah. So, and we said this in the last episode, but if you're not following our Instagram, go follow it, because that's where we ask a lot of our questions and we could read your answer on the pod if you want to be featured.
Yeah.
So the responses I got were good listener, which is a nice one. Humor. I think that means, like, a good sense of humor. Yeah. Or any humor, I guess, as long as they have one. Making you laugh. Similar lines. Compassion. Loyal. And a good communicator.
Nice.
Which I think all of those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, do you want to go over qualities that we think make up a good friend?
Yeah. So we kind of figured we'd divide this episode into 3 parts. So our first part is what we look for in friendships, kind of the qualities that we like in a friend. So some of mine are similar. I said loyalty is a big thing. I would, like, do anything for my friends and want the same effort back. They need to be spontaneous. Sometimes I want to sit on the couch and do nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to sit on the couch and do an activity. Sometimes I want to go sit in a car and drive somewhere and do nothing. Yeah. Other times I want to go out and have a great time. I feel like doing the same thing over and over again gets very boring. Yeah. So I want to have, like, friends who, like, are down to do anything. And I feel like all my friends are.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the next thing, which is kind of like the biggest thing for me, is like empathy. So like I don't talk about my feelings. My favorite way to like cope is to just be distracted and doing something. So even if my friends like talking about their feelings or whatever, I need an empathetic friend who will like take, if I'm trying to cope with something, like be a distraction for me, because like with them I'll talk about their feelings with them, like that's not what I like to do or how I guess feel better. But like if they feel better that way, like I will do that for them. So empathy is like a big thing for me.
I actually wanted to talk about that. I feel like a lot of people talk about love languages in relationships, but I feel like they're just as important in friendships.
Oh, 1,000%.
And I feel like you and I are a good example of that, because if you know me, you know this, I could talk about my feelings all day.
Yeah.
Like, I need to just kind of get out how I feel, and you're such a good listener at that, but I know that you don't like talking about your feelings, and you'd rather just me, like, make you laugh or something.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of understand your friend in that way, just as you would like your partner in a relationship.
Oh yeah, and I think love languages are more for friendships and whatnot. Just because like you're gonna have more friendships than you are relationships. And I think acts, like for me, mine is acts of service. And like if someone's feeling down or somebody needs a boost, like one of my friends, like that's what I do. And like that's kind of why loyalty is so important to me, because I'm like, I will drop everything to do something for you. So I just like want that back. And yours is like quality time, which I think like really applies to friends.
Oh, for sure. And I think like me personally with my friendships, I'm the same way. Like I could do anything, and a lot of times I could just sit with my friends and literally do nothing, or just talk or watch TV or whatever. I'll be like, hey, do you want to, you know, go to Trader Joe's or something like that, something we're doing anyway. But like one thing is, I think this could be a mix of our friendship style and just a mix of getting older, is that sometimes I take a long time to reply to texts. Like, and I feel like if that's important to you as a friend, then it's like you want to make sure you're friends with someone who understands that. And then, but like for our friendships, or like most friendships that I have, or I feel like you probably have too, it's like we understand that I'll text you and I text you and you can reply when you reply.
Exactly. Or like, I mean, we live near each other, so we see each other way too often, but like very rarely do we like text on the side. I feel like, unless like something major happens.
We started texting a lot about the podcast,
but like other stuff
before
like
that.
It's like it can wait till we see each other. But even like my friends that live in different states, like I don't need to talk to them every day for our relationship to stay the same. And I think like having that understanding, like if you have a friend that wants to text you every single day about every single thing, like you're so busy, how are you going to respond? Like if you, my friends, like if you think of something funny or you think of me and you haven't talked to me in a month, just say, hey, thinking about you, I just started laughing about this. That's all I need to show. Like, you don't need to be texting every single day or talking every single day.
Exactly. Oh, good. Do you have any other?
That's kind of my biggest one. I like a friend who gives good advice, because I'm someone who doesn't want stuff sugar-coated, and I feel like my friends like tell it how it is, and like even though I get so butthurt, I'm like, after I like get past the butthurt part, I'm like, wow, that's like really good advice. So I don't like there are some friends that I have, well, I think I used to be friends with them, to be honest. I don't know if they're still my friends, who would just sugarcoat everything and say like, oh, it's like I would have just gotten hit by a car, and they'll be like, oh, it'll be okay. Like, no, it won't be okay. But not that I ever got hit by a car, but definitely friends that give good advice that don't sugarcoat things.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, those are my qualities.
Okay, so some qualities I wrote were reliable, because that I feel like that kind of speaks for itself. But like if you're expecting your friend to be there for like, I don't know, just if you're going through something or, you know, they say they're going to do something, just make sure they, like, follow through with it. Doesn't have to be anything big, but I feel like reliable and trustworthy kind of go hand in hand. You know, like, if you tell your friend something, like, don't tell anyone. Like, I like friends that are actually not going to tell anyone. And, I feel like that explains that one. Another one I have is understanding. And this kind of goes back to what we were saying about just being busy. I feel like if you have a true friend that's like genuinely has your best interest at heart, they're not gonna get mad at you for like canceling plans or like being late or something. If you like fully explain from your side, like say something comes up last minute, I feel like just someone who understands like you as a person and like your character, that you would never do anything like maliciously and like you always have the best intentions, is super important. Because like if you are going through something in your personal life, or you just have, you know, an unexpected thing occur, you want someone who's gonna understand. Like, okay, I know Heather didn't do this on purpose, like she didn't mess up on purpose, and like everyone makes mistakes, and like we can forgive and move on instead of like holding on to something, you know, that's like, and just staying not necessarily angry. But I feel like going off of that, like I don't know if we've ever been like angry at each other for like whatever more than a day.
Hours.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like true friends genuinely just like forgive and forget. Yeah. Okay.
I like those. Yeah.
Then I have same sense of humor.
Okay.
I think is really important because there are so many different senses of humor, obviously, and just I feel like some senses of humor on any spectrum can cross a line. So you just have to make sure that like you know that no one's gonna get offended, or like no one's gonna make like inappropriate jokes that you don't find funny or something like that. Or if inappropriate jokes are your sense of humor, like go ahead.
Yeah, go. You can find whatever you want funny. Just know your audience.
Yeah. And then a quality I put is gets along with your other friends / like gets along with other people in your life. I feel like all of my core friends get along with each other and like with my family too. Yeah. Like you guys all know my mom, you know, my sister, you guys are best friends. My sister is in our group. But that kind of goes same for relationships too. Like if I'm going to date someone, I want to make sure that they're gonna get along with my friends, because I feel like if you have two important people like your friends and your partner or your boyfriend and they don't get along, I feel like one of them is a red flag. I don't know. So yeah, just get along with people that it's important to me anyway, that like all of my circles could kind of get along if it's something important to me. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. I know a lot of people like to keep certain friendship circles separate, and I feel like that's okay too. Yeah. But this is just like my
you're very much like everybody. Yeah. Like your family involved too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like everyone in my life knows everyone in my life. And that's the way it is. Yeah, and then I think also just good qualities is someone who will hype you up and support you. I feel like not necessarily, I haven't experienced this in my adult life, but I feel like more in high school and maybe college, you could be surrounded maybe by people who are kind of your friend, but they're almost like could express jealousy or kind of like spite towards you if you're doing, quote, better than them, or not necessarily better than them, but then if they see you doing something that they wish they could do, I think it's very important that you have people around you that support you and are like gonna be there for you, even I think two things can coexist at one time, like because you would want it to be the same thing vice versa. Like if your friend is doing something that you wish you could do and you feel jealous of it, like I feel like you could feel the emotion, oh, I wish I could do that too, while still being happy for them. If that makes sense. And I feel like this happens a lot more when you're younger, but you'll be surrounded by people who, if they see you're doing something, they'll act out of jealousy and try to put you down and like talk down to you and stuff, which is not a sign of a good friend. That's a toxic friend. So yeah, that's what I had.
Okay, nice. So the next section we have is our views on friendships, and kind of emphasis on how they've changed as we've grown older and whatnot. So I think a big one for me, and I kind of only have like one answer on this, but it's very broad, is like trying to hold on to friendships
Yeah.
like, that have clearly ended. And whether they ended on bad terms, good terms, because sometimes people just, as they grow and develop, they just go on separate paths. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think for me, I always try to hold on to friends. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm always the one to, like, when stuff starts to drift away, like, the first one to reach out, the first one to
Yeah.
try and make plans. But I'm like, if they wanted to, they would.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I think once I, like, realized, I'm like, why am I wasting my time? Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna just end it. But, like, when I think back to, like, my friendship with them, like, it's nothing but good things. So
Yeah,
I'm like, why?
exactly.
Like, I'm not mad that we're not friends anymore. Like I said, people just grow apart. And, like, if they're not gonna try, I'm not gonna try. Things just drift.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like not holding on to friendships anymore, because I feel like even in, like, high school and college, it's like you wanted so many different friend groups and friends. And then graduating, I'm like, I don't need that many friends. Like, one, I don't have that kind of time to hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
Two, like, I'd rather have, like, really, really good friends than a bunch of just close
Yeah.
friends, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I was kind of gonna say something similar. I feel like when I was approaching friendships when I was younger, so say in high school or college, I would go into that friendship thinking it was gonna be a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely would be like, oh my god, I love this person. Like, we're so close. Like, we're gonna be friends for such a long time. And I remember, you know, kind of after college, when I started to drift apart with those people, I took it really, really personally. And like you said, I would be the one reaching out, trying to make plans, and I just wasn't getting it reciprocated. And for a long time, I was like, what? Did I do something wrong? Like, what happened? Why don't they want to be friends anymore? And then I just kind of started to realize that after, when you start to have your own responsibilities, and, like, say you live by yourself, or, you know, you just start your job, you have so many more responsibilities that you didn't have, like putting food on the table for yourself, like going to work, you know, taking care of a million things. And sometimes friendships that were close to you just end up getting put on the back burner. And so I realized that could be happening to other people. And so I just kind of had to realize, okay, I'm not going to take it personally anymore. Like, why would I sit here and dwell on a friendship that isn't, like, they're not giving it back to me anymore. So why? It's like, I don't want to say, like, their loss. But it's kind of like you said, okay, we can't control it. Sometimes people just drift apart, and that's the way it is. And so I feel like now I've started to view friendships as, like, I'm grateful for who's in my life at this moment, but, like, if it changes in a couple months or a year or whatever, that's okay, because I know I have, like, my solid friends. Like, I have you, and I have, you know, the girls we grew up with and stuff. And it's like, if you have your core group that you know is always going to be there for you, and you know you have people, even like your parents or whoever in your family or your siblings, that you could rely on, it's like just knowing that you'll have them, and that other friendships are just an added bonus. It's like a really good way to look at it. Yeah.
It's like they're in your chapter.
Page 182.
A side character.
You are the main character.
Yeah. But yeah, I think kind of that's how friendships have changed, especially, like, in college. Like, you have your core friends, you have your class friends, you have your going out friends.
Yeah.
And so, like, to graduate college and come home and be like, I'm so glad that I'm with my home friends, but to go from, like, all those different groups to, like, the same couple people where, like, you guys are busy, it is very much like, oh my god, like, I am such a loser, I have no friends. Like, it would feel like a culture shock almost. But then, you just see the quality of friends you have, and minimal friends is much better than having, like my going out friends in college. Like, I don't think they knew anything about me.
Yeah.
But, like, I thought they were my best friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
exactly.
I don't think I've talked to them since we graduated either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, like,
it's like,
we're really, like, friends.
Yeah. And then I've also been surprised too, because what surprised me the most is I feel like I had a set people in mind after we kind of graduated college. like who I was going to stay in touch with and
Yeah.
who I wasn't going to. And some people who I thought I wouldn't stay in touch with, like I'm actually still pretty good friends with now.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like some people
Uh-huh.
I thought was going to be my friends for life, we
Yeah.
don't talk anymore.
Yeah,
So it's so interesting like how that works out.
Yeah.
And I was going to say too, it is a very big transition, and I feel like I don't know if it's just not talked about a lot, but when you go from seeing your friends and having access to them literally every single day,
Mhm.
especially when you live with your friends.
Yeah.
Like when I've lived with some of my best friends and
Mhm.
seen them every single day.
Mhm.
But then if you look back, it's like you never had to make plans with that person.
Yeah.
Like you never had to make an effort to see them because you knew you were coming home to them
Yeah.
every night. You knew that you guys were having dinner together.
Mhm.
Or if you did make plans, it was like, hey, I'm going to this right now, or I'm going to this tonight. Do you want to come? And like
Yeah, so easy.
And so it's just so crazy, like when you come home and you live like miles away and you
Mhm.
don't see them, you just start to feel like it's just such a shock.
Yeah.
I know that you just said this, but it's like you end up feeling kind of lonely and like
Yeah.
what you're like, this can't be it with life. But I think that's where learning to spend time alone like really comes into play.
Definitely.
Like we can do a whole other episode on like things to do alone and
Yeah.
spending time with yourself and stuff like that. But I think too one thing I had to learn was when I would go from seeing people every single day to barely ever seeing them, it's like that doesn't mean that you guys aren't still friends and that you still don't care about each other.
Mhm.
Like my roommates like one of my roommates in college who she's one of my best friends, like I grew up with her
Mhm.
since we were 4. She literally lives in Florida now.
Yeah.
And it's like we see each other maybe twice a year, but when we do see each other, like we spend the quality time together.
Yeah.
And like we barely text, but when we do, it's like, hey, just checking in, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean they're any like more or less of a friend than
Mhm.
they were. It's just like people's lives are on different
Mhm.
paths when they are. And like if you can be supportive of that person, like
Mhm.
and they can be supportive of you, like that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and I feel like we kind of touched upon like not being friends with someone or like the
Mhm.
relationship like closing, but like how my views on friendship have changed.
Mhm.
For like my close friends is like
Yeah.
when you grow together, like I just feel like for the ones that don't grow apart,
Mhm.
like the stuff you talk about changes. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
always talk about like One Direction. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like how in the first episode, like we had swimming in common, so like
Yeah.
we would always talk about swimming, and now we have like work, so we tell like crazy work stories.
Yeah.
But even like what we like to do for fun now has changed. So
Yeah.
I feel like friendships like develop over time because your interests change, and even if they
Yeah.
are separate, like I know our friend Abby like doesn't watch Love Island, but like she'll still listen to us like talk about Love Island, and
Yeah.
even like the friends that don't start liking the same things as you, when you have that
Mhm.
strong connection, like they want to know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like my sister Katie, she doesn't work a corporate job
Yeah.
yet, but she listens to us all the time.
Yeah.
And same with us. We're not in college anymore, but we still listen
yeah.
to her
Yeah.
talk about college. So yeah, I think that's also super important.
And yeah, I feel like when you're like in high school and college, like if you don't have like if you can't empathize and relate, like we went to college, so it's different for Katie, but like Katie can empathize with us for our corporate jobs, but in
yeah.
high school and college, a lot of friendships are so superficial that
Yeah.
like if you have nothing in common, you just talk about other people instead.
Yeah,
Like
that's so true.
I think that's like a huge thing how friendships have developed too, because in high school and college you could just talk about
Yeah.
mutual people, whether it be good or bad. Whereas like when you get older, I mean, not that we're like old and wise, but when you get older, like whether you can relate or not, you still talk about each other's interests.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely think I don't know if this just comes with being more secure in your friendships, but I feel like in high school and in college, I feel like with a lot of my friends, I would talk about other people a lot.
Yeah, so much.
I will
yeah.
hold my hands up. I gossiped so much
Yeah.
about not necessarily like trash talked, but just
Yeah.
like
so and so
talked about
did
other
this, like,
Yes.
oh my god, yeah. And like now I'm like, I don't care what they
yeah.
did.
Now I don't think I mean, maybe we do once in a while. We're
Yeah.
like, oh, did you see this person got married?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, they're our age and they're married.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like you just have such more, not more meaningful, I don't want to say, because relative to the time and the age that you were. But yeah, like if your friendships can mature and like they can look different with the same person. Like you can have a completely different kind of, like we were saying, stay friends with the same person. Yeah. But your relationship totally changes. Yeah. And like you can be there for each other in a lot of different ways than you were before, which is like totally normal and a good thing to happen.
Yeah, and when you're so close for so long, you have some similar experiences too. So it's like easier to relate on those as you grow up together. So yeah.
Oh, good.
Right. Okay, and then our last section is how do you make new friends?
After college or high school if you didn't go to college.
Or when you're out of school, we'll say, because school, it's like Heather said, you see your friends every day.
Yeah.
It's honestly so cool. Like, I low-key miss it. Like, seeing your friends, just, no matter what, you would see your friends in person.
I was thinking about that on the drive home. I was like, because I knew we were recording this. I was like, if I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self to literally soak up every second.
I know.
That we had living with our friends.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely didn't even grasp that concept until, like, 6 months ago or something. I was like, wow, we lived so close to our friends. Yeah. That was so fun.
And you could see them and there were no parents, so you could just see them whenever you wanted.
At any my friends and I would get McDonald's at, like, 1 a.m.
Yeah. On, like, Tuesday nights. Yeah.
Yes. And you could just go out. You would, like, borrow clothes. Like, you would just do literally whatever. Dye each other's hair in the bathroom. Yeah. Like, what actually happened?
We gave each other stick and poke tattoos. Like, you can do anything. So, So, how do you make friends out of college? Do you want to go first for this one?
Sure. So, my first thing was to try new things. I don't remember if I think I talked about this on my TikTok, actually. But if you are doing something that you like, so say you go to yoga, or if you like yoga, or if you like reading books, so you go to a bookstore, or you like coffee, so you go to a coffee shop. If you become a regular, like you could meet someone else that's also a regular, and then boom, you have something in common already. Yeah. Like, for example, I've been going to spin classes, and, like, it's so easy to make friends there because you're all going to spin. So you could already talk about something there. And then if you start to see the same girls there once or twice or 3 times, you could be like, hey, do you guys ever want to grab smoothies after or something? Or, like, start a locker room conversation. I don't know. But, yeah, that was one idea I had, was just, like, try new things. Like, you're not going to make friends. Not talking about work friends, but you're not going to make friends going to work and then going home. Yeah. Like, you're not going to do that. You have to branch out and get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and you already have that one thing in common. Like, if as your spin class, you could talk about spinning and then, like, other exercises that you like. And the same, like, fear you have about going up to people and being like, oh my God, we should get smoothies after. Yeah. They have that same one, so just do it. Like, just do it.
I was, like, what is the worst that can happen is that they'll just, like, give you off vibes. Yeah. Like, honestly, it happened to me yesterday at Spin. Yeah. I went up to a girl and, like, started having a conversation, and she didn't really seem interested. And I was like, okay, weird. But, like, then I just moved on with my day. Yeah, you know, you don't need to take it personally.
Way more embarrassing things are going to happen in your life.
Yeah, and it's like, if you're secure in yourself already, it's like, if an interaction doesn't go your way, it's like, oh, well, maybe next time. You don't. It's only embarrassing if you let it be embarrassing.
100%. Yeah. My first thing on my list was find something in common, and you can find something in common with everybody. I'm like very weird. If I'm like, if there's like a lull in a conversation, I do ask like icebreaker questions. I'm like, so what's your favorite restaurant? And then if their answer is not mine, then I'll keep asking them questions until we find something to talk about. Like, I
gosh.
know so much about so many random people, but like
Yeah.
random things, like what their favorite color is, what their favorite day of the week is.
Yeah.
Like I just fill lulls with icebreaker questions.
Wait, Gage, my boyfriend, said over the weekend you asked him his favorite color.
Yeah, I was in the front seat with her boyfriend when we were driving, and it was like a 45-minute drive, and I just kept asking him questions. I was like, so what's your ancestry? What's your favorite color?
And I couldn't hear that
Yeah,
at all. Because, I don't know, when you're in the front and back seat of a car, it's
Yeah.
like two different worlds. So I was like, what are you guys talking about? I was being so nosy.
Yeah.
What is your favorite color?
Mine is navy blue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
His is black.
I
But
know. I was like,
I said
you-
that's my favorite color to wear, but not my favorite color.
Yeah, I said you did not answer with black. And he was like, it's my favorite color. I was like, no, it's
Yeah,
not. It's
yeah.
not. And he was like, yeah, it is. I was like, how?
Yeah,
Like, it's not even in the rainbow.
we basically were like doing 20 questions in the front seat.
Nice. Yeah, and because he said randomly, he's like, I can't. We were just like, not even talking about you at all. He
Yeah.
was like, I can't believe Abby Walsh's favorite color is navy blue.
You're probably like, what?
I was like, why do you know that? I was like, I didn't even know that. I thought it was orange or something.
I change it like weekly,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was orange previously.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, navy blue. What? Okay. Another thing I had. Oh, were you done talking about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Another thing that I was hoping, maybe you could expand on this a little bit because you have more experience with it. But your friends don't necessarily have to be your age.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like mainly at work, or if you go to, like a workout class or,
Mhm.
I don't know, a bookstore or wherever you want to go, you could actually learn a lot from people older or younger than you. Like,
Yeah.
at work, and my boss is my boss, but I would consider us really good friends. And he has, like, a wife and a family.
That
and,
you would like probably talk about. Yeah.
yeah. And then I'm, just getting to know people at different stages in life can actually be super cool and really beneficial when you're
Yeah.
not all just, like, post-grad.
Exactly. And for men, like I said, you're gonna find a connection no matter what. And for so many different like they are if they're older than you, they're like the best at advice.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's no matter what age. And I grew up with two older sisters, so I
Yeah.
feel like I can connect well with people like in their like upper 20s very well because I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
grew up with my sisters. Like
yeah.
I know how they are, I know how their friends are. So yeah, like I said, if you just find something in common and then just let it go on from there. Like one woman from work was like is a huge fangirl of Elvis. So when I was like telling everybody at work about Harry Styles that I was gonna sleep on the street, everyone was like, "You're crazy, you're crazy," and she was like, "No, Abby, like you gotta do it, you gotta
I
do
did it for Elvis.
Yeah. So yeah, no matter, I mean, age is just a number.
In friendships, everybody. In relationships.
I mean, yeah. I probably shouldn't have said that. And you can have just work friends. You don't need to go out on Saturday nights with someone who's
yeah.
20 years older than you. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But, yeah, friendships, there's so many different levels of friendships. So,
Yeah. Awesome. And then another last thing that I had for making new friends, I guess, I know we just said people like older than us and stuff, but I think a really cool way is to, if you see someone that maybe who's like a mutual friend or whatever on social media, I feel like it's so cool to just reach out to them.
yeah.
Like, I feel like we can really, our generation can use social media to our advantage.
Yeah.
For example, like one of my friends now, we became friends because we knew that we had mutual friends in real life.
Yeah.
And we just followed each other on TikTok. And one day she DM'd me and was like, hey, we should work out together. And now she's who I go to spin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she listens. So shout out, Becca.
Yeah. Hey, Becca.
But it's just so cool because, like, she just reached out to me through social media. And we, like, probably never would have met, or, like, we might have crossed paths a couple times after. But, like, you could really use that to your advantage. And, like, I know that we're all on our phones anyway. It's like you might as well make genuine connections out of it.
Exactly. Like my friend Megan does a podcast. Listen to Coffee at Sunrise.
Yeah.
And she does TikTok and stuff. So like when I see you two interact, I'm like, oh my god,
yeah.
yes.
And Megan and I only met one time.
Yeah.
But I feel like we I genuinely feel like she's my friend.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm her friend because we just see each other on TikTok and we interact on TikTok so much. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
My last thing for how to make new friends, I don't know if this is cheating, but reconnect with old friends. Like,
yeah.
you guys might have drifted apart at one point in your life, but who knows? You guys could be on the same paths again now. So reach out to old friends, and if it's a text message back and forth for an hour and then that's it. But
who cares?
you have that base of being friends before, and you have those great memories. So reach out, see what's up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said it like that.
and I also feel like with that too, like sometimes it could work out great, and sometimes it might not work out at all, and you just have to be okay with that. Like, again, like I said a couple times in this episode, but you just really can't take things personal anymore. And like, I feel like I've just reconnected with a couple friends that I hadn't talked to since maybe like before the pandemic, and now we're like hanging out again, and it's so fun and cool. So that's a good one. I didn't think of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is wrapping up our episode, everyone. And today's long story short is going to be, don't be afraid to try new things, and your best friendships will come when you are the most secure in yourself, and things are only going to be embarrassing if you let them be embarrassing.
Yeah, if you ever have doubt in friendships, listen to F.U.N. by SpongeBob SquarePants or True Friend by Hannah Montana. Make sure, like Heather said earlier, you're following us on Instagram because we're going to ask you guys questions for all our episodes, and TikTok. Both are Don't Get Me Started Pod.
Yeah, not to like really expose us, but we have 8 followers on TikTok.
Okay, and 2 of them are ourselves.
So please. Please. Don't make me beg. Anyway, both of our handles are at Don't Get Me Started Pod, and you can please rate this podcast, leave a review, follow us on
wherever
Spotify.
you listen to music or podcasts.
Yeah, and I think that's all for now.
Yeah.
Happy
See you
Monday.
guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.